I bring to you this African lady who grew up in an African setup family and ended up getting a college or rather a university education and surpassed high expectations to become an administrator and later became a CEC in the county government of Kericho. One humble lady, one woman of God, the only public servant who I know cannot blue tick someone on WhatsApp. Welcome, Madam CEC.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
maybe you can. I've given you one of the best introductions.
Such a description is amazing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe you can introduce yourself and let our viewers know what you do and who you are.
Okay, thank you very much, Victor.
Okay.
As you've heard, my name is Hellen Chepkwony. I am currently I'm the Kericho County Executive Committee member in charge of Information, Communication and E-Government in the county government of Kericho.
Okay.
And I am saved.
Of course.
I love Jesus.
Okay.
I am married to one man.
Okay, of course.
Yes.
Okay.
Named Dixon.
Okay.
It's one part of my name.
Okay.
Yes.
Chepkwony.
Yes, Dixon Chepkwony.
Yeah.
And God has blessed us with 3 children.
Okay.
2 sons.
Okay.
And a daughter.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay. Now, today we are coming to you not from a perspective of your job, but as an individual who has worked your way up to where you are, and you want to encourage someone who will be watching this, so they can be encouraged and continue with the journey. Maybe you can give us a brief story about your journey, how you started and how you ended up as a CEC or an administrator before.
Thank you very much, Victor. Yes, I started from a very humble background.
Okay.
I was born in a village called Kachetoro.
Okay.
That is in Kichimchim Ward, Amoy Sub-County.
Okay.
And I schooled in a primary school called Kachetoro again, that is in the village.
Okay.
And then I went to Kipsigis Girls High School.
Oh, you're an alumni of Kipsigis Girls.
Yes, I'm an alumni of Kipsigis Girls.
The great.
Yes. One of the best girls' schools in Kericho County. It's a national school and they are proud of it. It's still doing well. Okay. And from there I proceeded to Nairobi, the University of Nairobi. I know that people are usually proud of it. I'm also proud to be one of the alumni of the University of Nairobi. Okay. I did a Bachelor of Arts in Economics and Sociology. Okay. So I'm a social scientist. Okay. Yeah, immediately after my campus, I tamared for 3 years. 3 good years? Yes. Okay. That is what people don't know. Yes, that's what people don't know. Okay. And my life hasn't been that easy. But I thank God for the fact that I have come. Okay. So after tamaking for 3 years, I remember before I went to university, what used to happen that time was that when you go to university, and you go and do Bachelor of Arts. It used to be called Bachelor of anything. Okay. And the story that was going around and what people knew was that when you go do a BA, you'll never get employment. And those days, during our days, we didn't get the opportunity of maybe choosing our careers early enough, like the way we do for our children right now. We are able to identify their talents and be able to connect them to the right place so that they are able to build their career. That was not the story by our time. So for me, I went to school and I used to work hard not to discourage my parents. And not to be beaten. So you were going to school for your parents? Yes, it's like I was going to yeah, because I understand that time people were focusing on the science. Yes, science it was more science. Yeah, it was even better to do a Bachelor of Science than just do Bachelor of Arts. Okay. But little did I know that God had a purpose and He had a plan for me. So by doing that, earlier before, as I said earlier, I had thought of, because now I've been admitted to go and do Bachelor of Arts, I would rather change and do a course on medicine. I was thinking of going to NTC to go and do nursing. Another option I had was to go to Egerton, because Egerton used to offer a course in education that was a graduate diploma in education.
TSC was hiring at the time.
Yes, and because teachers were being employed, nurses were being employed. So I wanted a course which I was going to get an employment later. So I decided I would rather do a diploma and get employed rather than do a degree. By that time I had not chosen even. I didn't even know what it involves to go and do a Bachelor of Arts. I did not even know the subjects I was going to take. Yes, but unfortunately, by the time we are joining university, I had not succeeded to get a place in these other colleges. So I just gave in, and my dad and my father encouraged me that just go and do. You can go and try and change the course. So I was thinking that I was going to change to go and do education in Kikuyu. But I went, I tried, I didn't succeed.
So you ended up doing the same course?
I did the same course.
That is in the 90s. Because going to university in the 90s.
Yeah, it was in the 90s.
There was no parallel course.
That was 1996. No, it had not started.
So you were qualified campus lady from the village.
Yes, I had gotten a B minus.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations for that journey. So you, after the campus now is when you started tamarking after the 3 years now?
I started looking for jobs. It was not forthcoming. At some point, even I decided to get married because I was staying home just wasting time. So I got married in the middle. So I actually got my job when I was already married. I already had my first born.
So God's plan again.
Yes, God's plan. Then our jobs were advertised by government, the Public Service Commission. I applied. And I was employed.
And people might, yes. I was going to mention that because now someone would think you approached someone for these positions, maybe.
The only person I approached is my God.
Oh, thank you. Now the viewers can see you can do this. You want to encourage someone.
Yes.
You can apply and God will see you.
And God will see you.
Yeah, the way.
And if that job is meant for you, it's meant for you, whether there's someone to influence or not.
So you went ahead to become an administrator.
Yes, I was employed as a district officer. That is what used to be called that time.
DO.
Yes, DO.
At a very young age. You started early.
Yes, I started early.
So after that, you worked as a DO all this time. We'll discuss about that anyway, because as an administrator, we'll discuss about that. Then you finally became a CEC in the Kericho County.
I did. When the county, the government came into place, I got an opportunity as a CEC, and it was still like God who opened the opportunity.
What I'm trying to get is, you've walked your journey to get here.
Yes.
Didn't come by any chance, by luck. Okay, now, what caught our eye, especially me, that's why I reached out to you.
Yes.
We go to the same church. You are one humble lady. As I said in the introduction, she's the only CEC who doesn't blue tick people. I can chat with you on WhatsApp, and you don't hold people back. So, what makes you become humble with that seat? Do you know who you are in the first place? Are you aware?
Yes, I do. But I want to thank God because that position has never gotten into me. I'm still myself. Maybe also it is contributed by my upbringing. Brought up in the village. I did everything people do. If it is smearing the house with mud, I did that because we used to live in a muddy house. I went to the farm. I remember in our family we have few girls. We were many girls and we have few brothers. So we used to do everything, even spraying the cows, cutting the napier grass,
going for fire,
doing all the farm work, doing all the kitchen work.
So your upbringing has a lot to do with it.
Yes, and
because you don't think anything has changed.
Yes. Despite of the fact that my father was working, but he didn't let that influence us. So we grew up just like anyone
African
else.
girl.
And then another thing also is because I got saved when I was still young. I got saved when I was in high school. And that one has really influenced my life. It has influenced every step of my life. And every time God reminds me that through His word in Deuteronomy, chapter 8, that after God has blessed you with all this, do not forget. So because I don't accord the achievements to myself.
It's for the glory of God.
It's for the glory of God, and it is God who has given me. How can I come and concentrate on the blessing and forget the giver?
The giver. Okay.
So when it comes to worshiping my God and serving my God, I forget everything else. I forget my position. I forget everything.
You are just you.
To just serve my God. Yes.
Thank you so much for that. That is so powerful. Yes. And when did you let's talk briefly about your Christian life. How did you get saved? How has been the journey? I know there's going down, coming up, but it's been faithful, we can tell.
Yes.
We can see the fruits.
Yes.
Let's talk about your Christian life.
Yes. So as I said earlier, I got saved when I was in, just before I went to Form 1. We had gone to a youth camp.
Okay.
I remember that youth camp was in Kericho High. I was brought up in AIC Church, Africa England Church.
Okay.
My mother was a staunch Christian, and she really brought us up in church, but my father was not saved. So the person who actually influenced me is our mom.
Okay.
But again, despite of the fact that my father was not saved, he used to insist that every Sunday
you go to
church, and if you don't go to church, you must know why. So I grew up going to church every Sunday. It was a must. Wow. We started with Sunday school, then after we grew up, we continued.
So it worked.
It did.
And it really works.
People
are saying, oh,
no, it works.
So
that background is
okay. So your Christian life started when you were very young.
It started when I was very young, but now I made a personal decision during that camp when we were attending a youth camp. I decided to give my life to Christ. That was in 1990. And then the following year is when I joined high school.
Okay.
So again, when I went to high school, I thank God because the people who are like now, the people who are mentoring me in high school, the people who assisted me to catch up in school, they were also saved. So they used to take me to see you. They taught me to pray and where to pray. So we used to pray together. I remember we used to go for preps in the morning at 5:30, and then we come back for tea. So immediately after tea in the morning, we used to take tea around 7 before we go back to class at 8. We used to rush, go take tea, and then we finish our duties. We used to pray in a bush. In that school, there used to be a bush which was done next to the road.
That is interesting.
In Kisugi's Girls. So we used to go. That is not, there are two ladies. And even up to date, they still love God, and I thank God for that. So those two ladies, they are actually three. So we used to finish our duties, take our tea, we rush to that.
You pray, then go back to class.
We go to class. After lunch, we go
the
pray,
same thing.
Come to class.
Wow.
Even before we finish everything after supper, go pray, come to class.
What do you pray for? You are very young. You just have studies to think about.
No.
You must be anointed.
But it's really my high school life.
Okay.
Had an influence.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's what that is about 30 years in the word. Because if we count from 1990, that is a clear 30.
So even by the time even after high school, I remember those days we used to stay home for 1.5 years. That time when I was home, I spent it serving God. I got connected with our pastor, who was our pastor that time in our church. I used to lead the youth. We used to pray together.
And so still in worship up to today.
Yes.
Praise and worship.
Yes.
Because I was sure that is the CC. I was wondering.
I used to be those times. In fact, I used to keep the church, the key to the church.
Oh.
Because weekdays we used to go up at church pray. On Sunday we are the first ones to go to church because we started our own morning devotions. So I used to be the first one to go to church, do morning devotion, teach Sunday school, continue with the service. I used to do my work, my course at home. Because maybe you have to wash utensils, you have to give grass, grass to the cows, provide water. I used to do them very early. Go to church the whole day.
And you've seen the hand of God all this time.
I have. It has not been.
You can confess. Okay, now let's go back to your career. As a woman in public service, yes, you have those barriers. What has been the most significant barriers in your growth as a public servant, as a career woman? What are those things that you think are barriers sometimes? Maybe there can be your work dates, anything that you think has been you have to struggle with to rise to where you are.
Yes, in my career as a woman, like we have said, I used to work as an administrator, and that time when I got employed, used to be very few women. Earlier, there are not employed very many women in that department, but now they have started employing women because of the affirmative action. So you could find yourself in most of the times. You find yourself you're the only lady.
Okay.
Sometimes, like even I remember to chair meetings of chiefs, and the only lady of the chiefs are men.
Okay.
We chair meetings of
So they may
security
not want
committee.
to listen to what you say sometimes.
No, they have to listen.
You have the power.
You assert power and you make them know you're the boss.
Oh,
you don't
okay.
give them an opportunity to think that because you're still young, I was still young.
So you fought
I was
for your
leading
space.
men. I was leading men who are as old as my father.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what has been a barrier as a public servant and as a woman, as I have, I told you earlier, we live in a patriarchal society. And because of that, people see us as lesser human beings.
It's true.
So sometimes you even go for meetings, and if you are 2 or 3 women in that meeting, they'll expect you to pray. They'll expect you to serve tea.
You told me about serving tea.
Yes.
And they can't go to serve tea, so they want you to say they assume you belong to the kitchen.
Yeah, so I usually insist, the women at their offices, like anyone else, we all perform the same duties.
Okay.
And sometimes you will have to do extra for people to know that despite of the fact that you're a lady, you can do it.
And
you have to go an extra. You have to go an extra mile.
Yeah, and this was
and you really have to show.
Wow.
Otherwise, they'll not take you like that.
You'll have to fight for your space.
You have to fight for your space, and you have to go an extra mile to show them that I'm able.
Okay.
Yes. So that's a patriarchal thing still affects us, despite of the liberalization. Even up to today, you'll give out instructions. People will not follow just like that. It's until you really follow up. Someone will think that madam
because she's a woman. Even a junior officer.
Yes, even a junior officer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you basically, but I think the conversation now is now getting better, because
that thing is
when you were starting, it must have been difficult.
Yes, it was worse, but at least it's changing. But still, as a woman, you have to go for an extra mile.
Okay, you've mentioned this. Umeguzia kidogo now. Do you think have you ever faced a resistance when you're dealing with men?
Not so much. Yes, but sometimes I have.
You have,
but not so much.
Okay. Yes. So sometimes you've had to fight.
For your space.
For those spaces. Yes. Okay. When you were starting, after campus, you were there. As I've said, you've surpassed your expectations. I'm sure. Did you ever expect you'll ever get here? As a CEC in Kericho County. Even if you see yourself, do you even imagine?
Even when the constitution was being promulgated, I was hearing about the counties coming. I didn't ever think
you'll never get here.
I'll never get there.
So what do you say? Do you say it's your hard work? Do you say it's God? Do you say it's
I cannot say that it's hard work. Everyone works hard. Everyone has purpose.
Okay.
To me, I say it was the plan of God, and sometimes God orchestrates things for your good. I remember that time before I was taken up in the county, I was facing some challenges. In my workplace as an acting DC. Okay. That time I was working in Nyeri as an acting DC sector. And I was facing a lot of challenges with the team I was working with. And it was becoming a bit difficult, a lot of stress, a lot of problems here and there. I remember I prayed one day and told God, please give me a way of escape out of all this. Sometimes some of these jobs we do, sometimes they are not good for you even as a Christian. There are things people will do that you will not want to engage yourself in. And when you don't engage yourself in such things, they seclude you, they ostracize you, or they can target, they
Even
can
fix you
target you,
sometimes.
they can even fix you.
Okay.
Yeah. So at that time it had become a bit hard. So I prayed and told God, please provide for me a way of escape out of this.
And that is how the CEC God opened a way.
Yes, with time. It didn't happen immediately.
Okay.
But with time, God opened a way. Found myself being looked for that time. They were looking for, they wanted specifically a lady from Mainamui sub-county who has done administration for at least 10 years. And there was no one. That person ended up being me. Christ.
Okay.
But I really thank God.
You know, I'm even forgetting I'm in an interview. I'm getting to your story.
You're getting emotional.
I'm getting emotional because as a young man too, we are looking to grow. So that's so really
That's why I
good.
really encourage people. Having faith in God is never in vain, and the word of God is true. When you really believe and trust God to fulfill His promises, He does. And the verse that I've always stood on, it has always been my theme verse. And wherever I go, especially when I'm talking to youth, I usually talk about it. Even my children is Matthew 6:33 says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these other things shall be added to you."
So all those others are additions. These are additions.
Yes.
The love comes first and the pursuing comes.
And the pursuing comes first.
Okay.
All these others.
Okay.